through the Diamond New Testament 16. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower, and I'm here to give you the gospel truth about the gospel truth. We're here to bring you more of through the Diamond New Testament. The Diamond New Testament is the compilation of the New Testament that was put together by yours truly, me, Jeffrey Daugherty. We go through it from start to finish in chronological order, and today we're getting almost finished with the book of James, which is the first book in the chronological New Testament. Keep watching our videos about Irma, our updates. Keep rebuking Irma. We are starting to have an effect. George Norrie is going to be doing it on Friday night. Great stuff. We are going to be the Christ we want to see, to steal a line from Rex Bear. Be the Christ or be the Chicken Little. It's up to you. So let's go ahead and jump right into our subject today. And this is a very good subject, misuse of riches. Now, I want you to notice that it doesn't say being rich is wrong. It says misusing the riches you have is wrong. And in order to get the context of this passage, which we like to do, you really have to start at verse number 3, where it says, your gold and silver is cankered. The rust of them shall be a witness against you, and shall eat your flesh as it were fire. Because why? You have heaped together treasure in these last days. Behold the hire of the laborers who have reaped down your fields, which is of you kept back by fraud. It cries out, and the cries of them which have reaped are entered into the ears of the divine. You've lived in pleasure on the earth. You've been wanton. You've nourished your hearts as in a day of slaughter. You've condemned, killed the just, and he didn't even resist you. So, rich men that have done this, weep, howl for your miseries that shall come upon. Your riches are corrupted. Your garments are moth-eaten. Why? Because you have misused your riches, not because you have riches. And let's look at the Greek and go ahead and confirm that. And again, we're going to start in 3. Your gold and your silver, it has corroded. Gold doesn't corrode, doesn't rust, doesn't tarnish, but it does in spirit. So your gold and silver have corroded and rusted, and it's a testimony. It's a witness. It's evidence against you. Why? And it will eat your flesh. It's going to make you feel terrible because you have treasured up, you've stored up, saved up, laid aside a bunch of treasure in the end of times. So what's wrong with that? Well, here's what's wrong with it, because not only have you laid it up, not only have you laid it up, but you have stolen wages from the people that were working for you. You have held back their wages. You've held down their wages. You've given them an unfair rate of exchange. And those that have actually done the work for you, they're crying out to the divine. And they're saying that you have lived in indulgence. What's that mean? Lived in indulgence. Luxurious lifestyle of self-indulgence upon the earth. You lived in self-indulgence. You fatten yourself in a day of slaughter, which is a bad day for a lot of people. And you're heaping to yourselves great riches in a day that is called a day of slaughter for a lot of people. It's bad times. It's rough times. It's sacrificial times, and you're heaping and hoarding it up. And because of this, you're condemning and putting to death people that have not resisted you, people that have nothing against you. You're hoarding it up for the last days, and that's the problem. That's the sin. Not the fact that you're rich, but it's that you're misusing your riches. Now, this scripture became very real to me when I was making a lot of money and not giving a lot back. And I began to realize I'm stealing from myself, and I'm stealing from people and from the Lord, because I realized that my pursuit of money was keeping me from fulfilling my great basic purpose. And many of you that are listening to me now, your money is keeping you from fulfilling your great basic purpose. You are not allowing yourself to do what you're supposed to do You're not allowing yourself to be what you're supposed to be. You're not allowing yourself to go where you're supposed to go because you're worried about getting and making more money. What would you be doing if you were doing what you were supposed to do as opposed to what you're doing now? It's a question only you can answer. Now, many of you are heaping together money that will never, ever be able to be spent, that will never, ever be able to be used, and probably is going to get eaten up by the government when you die. Or your family will fight over it and squander half of it in Vegas. So the question becomes, what do you do with this money if you can't spend it? And what do you do to keep it from being a witness against you? What do you do to keep it from eating your flesh as if it were fire? Well, quit heaping together treasure. Pay a fair wage to those that are working for you. Try exchange in abundance. Normal exchange is you give them $5, they give you $5 worth of work. Or unequal exchange is you give them $5 and they give you a half hour worth of work. What if you gave them $10? What if you gave them an exchange in abundance? They'd probably do better work. You'd probably end up with even more money. So why not give an exchange in abundance to your employees if you have a lot of money that you're saving up and treasuring up? Don't be fraudulent. Don't cheat. Don't steal. Don't misapply. Don't misappropriate. Try giving back more than you're taking. Then the cries which will enter into the ears of the divine are good cries about how wonderful you are and how you'll have about how pleasurable you are. And if you begin to do this, you will be able to live in pleasure that's not wantonness. What is wantonness in verse number 5? This will give us a real sense of what we're talking about. This is the first book of the New Testament. Wantonness, self-indulging, fattening yourself, living in an overabundance that you don't need. That's why I downsized myself. I'm now in an RV and a mobile home. Everything I have, I could probably put in a car, and I've never been happier in my life. And I know that I'm being better to the earth. I know that I'm being better to my spirit, and I know that I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. And I know that I'm not stealing any wages from anyone else. And that makes me feel good. That makes me feel powerful. Now, what about some of you that, again, have been blessed with an abundance of riches? What about some of you that have been blessed with an abundance of riches? Or somebody asks you, well, Jeff, what are you going to do as more people support and you get more and more money? Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. And it's going to happen. It's just a matter of if. It's a matter of when, not if. As we get more and more money, what we're going to do is we're going to have a place, some acreage. And I've always wanted to call it the NCK tribe. And we'll have like a central place. I'll have a place where I live, a nice little yurt. Then we'll have a central meeting hall. And then we'll have like either yurts or teepees around so people can come in and take training and seminars and get personal help on a regular basis. It'll be a 12-month-a-year conference center where people can come and be helped, be healed, be trained, and go out and start NCK centers all across the land. That's what we're going to do. And as I get more and more money, that's exactly what I'm going to put it into. We'll get some better cameras. We'll get some better background. We'll get some better video equipment. We'll get some better audio equipment. We'll go and have this place, have this studio, have a place where people can come in. And we will have this NCK center, this NCK tribe. And we may even have people that come there and live there on a full-time basis. So maybe you've got a lot of extra money and you don't want to just hoard it up. You don't want it to come against you. You don't want it to be fire in your bones. Why not give it to me and let me start the NCK center? Or if you don't trust me, buy the land, give that to me, and we'll start the NCK tribe. All that's between us and making that happen is a little bit of money. And all that's between you and being completely right with the divine is a little bit of money. So maybe we can work something out. Quid pro quo. You help me, I'll help you. Sooner or later, that's going to happen. And it's going to happen when it's supposed to happen. So just an idea, just food for thought. But that's what you can do. Once you get your basic needs met, and you've got a little bit set aside just in case, then you can begin to sow into the work of the Christ. And that's what it's all about. That's what James was talking about here in this passage. James was very simple and very explicit. He said, listen, don't let your gold and your silver canker, put it to work. Don't let the rust of them be a witness for you, because the only way it could rust and get cankers if it was laid around and doing nothing. Put your money to work for the cause of Christ, either through you or through me. I joke, but just a little. Because if you don't, it'll just sit there and it'll eat your flesh, especially now that you've heard this. You'll know, man, I got all that money laying around. It's not doing anything. I could be doing something with it. Jeff could be doing something with it. Don't heap together treasure for the last days. Keep what you need. Keep some extra for a rainy day, and then give the rest away so people can build something for the Christ. Don't hold back the laborer from the folks that work for you. Give them an exchange in abundance, not even a fair exchange. Give them an exchange in abundance and see what happens. So this way, instead of them crying out that you're unfair, they'll cry out to the divine your praises. It's okay to live in pleasure on the earth, but don't be wanton. Don't sit on a big pile of money that you're never, ever going to be able to spend when it can be given into the work of the kingdom. Don't just nourish your hearts while other people are in lack. Give, and it shall be given to you. Don't condemn. Don't kill the just. Don't resist those that are not resisting you. Be a source of blessing, or be a source of encouragement. Be a source of funding for people that are trying to do the work of the Christ. Or even better, get involved in doing it yourself. This is what money's for. Building the people of the Christ. When we have that NCK tribe, that NCK center, we'll be able to build more people. We'll be able to help more people. We'll be able to have great conferences. We'll be able to disperse great teaching and training, and we'll be able to send people back out in their communities to do that. And we will when we do. And if you're out there and want to help expedite that process, let me know. I'm all ears. But the whole thing of this is don't let money be your God. And don't let money be your focus. Use money. Money's not a bad thing. Riches aren't a bad thing. You can do bad things with them. And sometimes just sitting on it and hoarding it up, the Christ says, is not, it's bad. It's not good for you, and it doesn't help anybody else. So this is not Darty saying it. This is James. My name is not James. My name is Jeffrey. And I did not write the first book of the New Testament. This guy named James did. Your gold and silver are cankering and rusting, and that's a witness against you. It's going to burn you up in your body because you are heaping together treasure for the last days. Don't cheat your laborers. Give them an exchange in abundance. Don't store up more than you could ever possibly use. Don't be wanton. Give it out to people that can do the work of the Christ, or do the work of the Christ yourself. That way there won't be people condemned that would in other ways have known about the great message of the Christ. So weep, howl for your miseries if you continue to hoard, because your riches will be corrupt, your garments will be moth-eaten. But if you turn that around and use your excess for the work of the Christ yourself or through other people, you're going to be praising, you're going to be happy, people are going to be singing your praises, and you'll have the internal satisfaction of knowing that you've helped people find the true message of the Christ and find true enlightenment along the way. It's up to you. It's yours, and you can make it even better than what it is, and you can make yourself a center of help and encouragement and funding for those doing the work of the Christ, and again, ideally, do the work of the Christ yourself. That's what part of loving yourself is, and that's part of loving others, sharing what you've been given. And if you've been given an exceeding amount, then that means that the Christ gave it to you so that you can be helpful to other people and building the work of the Christ. Don't be ashamed. Don't be worried. Don't feel bad because you have great riches. Do great things with your great riches. Take care of your needs. Set aside what you need to have a safety net and a safe and prosperous retirement. And then do something for the Christ with the rest of it. Or get yourself to the place where you can do something you don't want to do a minimal amount of hours a week as possible, so you can do what you're called to do the rest of the time. And then it'll start catching up, because you'll start getting remuneration for what you're supposed to be doing, and you can stop doing what you don't want to do. I'm living proof that's how it's working for me, and that's all because of you. And that's why I salute you. That's why I ask you to remember that there's no sin within. You've got the spark of divinity within. So love yourself, love your neighbor, be excellent to yourself, be excellent to your neighbor, be excellent to yourself financially, be excellent to your neighbors financially and responsibly. And together, we will build this thing for the Christ and build more people for the Christ. And remember, 11 minutes after the hour, let's just do it a little bit early. Irma, I rebuke you. Irma, I rebuke your winds. Irma, I rebuke your waves. Irma, peace. Irma, be still. Turn towards the north and go over the open waters. And I speak power and strength and blessing and energy to the low pressure system sweeping up across Florida to carry Irma out into the open waters. That's what we do. 11 minutes after every hour, and as often as you can remember in between. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower. This has been the gospel truth about the Diamond New Testament, the chronological New Testament. And we're almost finished up with the book of James. As you look here, you can see we just have to go over patience and suffering and the prayer of faith. And we've got, forget what this heading is, but you see we just have a few verses left on the book of James, and we'll be ready to get into the next book. So this has been the Diamond, through the Diamond New Testament. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, your Christian whistleblower, and I do salute you. Let's take a quick look into the chat room and see if there's any good questions. And let's see if there's any lousy questions too. There might be some lousy ones, who knows? But let's take a look. I missed the chat, but yes, we're moving the hurricane. Or better said, it is done. Absolutely. It is done. Listening while she washes her kitchen, Shauna Ray. Listening at work. Good sunny afternoon from Tampa. Hey, Troy, I'm over in Clearwater. Timeshare, whatever that means. Let's hear more about the investment dreams. I'm interested. Baby boomers in a nutshell. Not a Christian. Is this evangelizing? It's up to you, bro. Hi again. Great advice. Peace to Irma. For sure. No rebuke from me. You know, do we have to go new age gobbledygook? I'm rebuking it because the Christ rebuked it. Show me some scriptures where he did something other than rebuke a storm. I'm all in. Until then, I'm rebuking. I can feel the energy. Let's keep it up. Thank you. I don't do PayPal. Got an address? Yes, I do. Go ahead and send me an email and we'll put you in contact with that. Looks like our stream is having a little bit of issues, so I'll go ahead and end it. Just remember, keep doing what we're doing. Keep doing the Irma. Yes, it is Irma. Keep doing the Irma rebukes. And if you want to do it with a blessing, that's up to you. But I'm just saying, show me some scripture where the Christ did something other than rebuke a storm, and I'm all in. Until then, I'm going to do what he did because he said I can do it and even better. Gainesville, Tampa, a lot of Floridians in the house. Nice to see you here. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower. We're going to end it because it looks like we're having some issues with our feed. But this has been the gospel truth about the Diamond New Testament. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, your Christian whistleblower. We'll see you again real soon.